Hi. Welcome back. The budget announced also comes with a whole slew of measures to assist families with GST credits and rebates. So I sat down with a middle-income family during the Chinese New Year festive period and asked them what they thought about the budget and whether it was sufficiently helpful for them.
So let's take a look.
Yes.
As we usher in the year of the ox, would this be an auspicious year, signifying more good things to come? With the budget being announced recently, do families here in Singapore have more reasons to celebrate? And I'm here now with the Ong family, and I have here with me whom I affectionately call my Aunt Yi and Uncle George. So the budget has just recently been announced, and there are some assistance to family and household. So Uncle George, what do you think, what kind of impact does this have for family like yours?
I do not benefit much. It's because partly because of our household. It's meant for the lower income group. So I don't think it benefited much. I'm lucky in the sense that both us, husband and wife, working. My daughter also working, and my son is still studying, and I have one younger daughter. So it does not affect me much.
But what I read is the government is actually stepping out and helping, even going into our reserves. And I've heard so much about our reserves, and this is the first time they're taking our reserves.
George, do you agree with that? The government is dipping into our reserves for the first time.
Oh yes, the government is dipping into measure first time, and I think it's good for the government to during the rainy days now, especially the next few years or maybe next few months, the economy is not too good. I think the government should play a part and help the people through the hard times.
Is there anything you feel that the government should have done for this year's budget that you really feel personally?
Oh yes, I think that the lower income need more help, especially on the medical. I have seen a few incidents at the polyclinic where people cannot afford to take their medication. So it's quite a pity for the elderly people who got no money to take their medication.
In particular, they feel the GST credits should be more generous and the service and conservancy charges should be waived.
Why can't they give more than double? It's actually very little, compared to the high cost of living nowadays. The living here in Singapore is no joke, I think. It's really very hard for the poor people. GST, $200, well, better than nothing. But if they can dip into their reserves, surely they can come out a bit more for the poor.
How about waive away S&C charges? There's so many of them, poor thing, they do not have enough money. So with the town council surpluses, even though they have some losses, they still have a lot of money in the town council. Why can't you waive away the charges? Maybe for a few months, maybe down the road, maybe even 1 year if they can afford.
What do you think about your job security?
But they gave the thumbs up for the job credit scheme and retraining subsidies.
Retrain workers. Does that have any impact on your prospect?
Oh yes, definitely. Because even though I'm in the private sector now, there is good that the government is giving some allowance, some funds for retraining and to upgrade ourselves.
And what do Joanne, the eldest of the Ong children, a primary school teacher, feels about the boost in funds for the education sector?
It's good that they are helping, they're really pulling in extra money into the education sector to help boost it as much as they can. So hopefully the students will benefit, and then everyone will benefit in the long run too. Yeah.
Okay, to be brutally honest, I don't know much of the specifics, but I know that I need to be worried soon. Yeah, and for this to come on the back of the recession, I think it's good news. And because all I hear these days are my friends getting retrenched and stuff, especially those who work in banks. So I guess it's good that the government is giving us money, I think. Are they? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Are they? Yes, they are. But in terms of GST credits, because I'm not exactly affected, by the economic crisis. Yeah, but maybe for next time, save up now for rainy days next time. Yeah.
So, Uncle George, are you making any changes to the family's budget?
Well, I think we should try. We should. Everybody is starting the budget, starting their pocket, the belt. I think we should also play a part. I think we should not be splurged. It's good that we try to save as much as we can, and try to, if we can, for the rainy day.
For this year of the ox, what do you? So, what are the family's wishes and hope for this coming year?
As we all Chinese, most of the Chinese believe the oxen represents a very hardworking animal in the zodiac sign. We Singaporeans, all of us can identify with each other. We work very hard for our children. I hope the government can also be equally more generous and empathize with us, give us more if they can.
Yep. And so for someone like Uncle George, he's like a sandwich generation where he has kids who are still going to school and he has an elderly mom to take care of. So do you think the government has done enough for a middle-income family like that? Maybe...
For the short-term effect, you may not see very obvious effect for middle-income people, but I think in the long term, because government also want to spend some money on to improve healthcare, education systems, right? So, and also infrastructure. So in the long term, the middle-income people will see the benefit from those schemes, but not in the short term.
Okay. So the impact is not immediate; it's a little bit longer down the road.
Yeah, I think that most of the immediate effects will be on low-income people.
Yeah.
Those who need have financial needs. But for middle-income people, it might take some time.
That's right. During a recession, the hardest hit will usually be the lower income families.
Yeah, true.
Do you think that's enough for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in terms of the personal income tax part, there's expectation that the tax rate should drop from the current 20% tax rate, or correspondingly other band threshold should also be dropped, but there isn't. But instead, the government has given a 20% personal tax rebate, which is good. But again, it's capped at $2,000,
yes,
so
exactly.
the impact may not be really felt so greatly. But again, you have to look at things in perspective. The government is also giving off 40% property tax rebate for owner-occupied houses. So that is something which we have to bear that in mind. And also road tax rebate for public transportation. So all these rebates hopefully will translate into pass down to the consumer individuals, and in terms of lower bus fare, taxi fares, and all this indirectly will help the middle income people.
Yeah, well, you're right, because he did mention about the income tax rebate, because it's capped at 2,000. It doesn't really help the family, especially based on the flat type that they stay, because the bigger the flat type, the less rebates you get. So it really doesn't trickle down to them as much. But what about the one thing they talk about, the GST credits? Even though it's double the amount that they feel that is still not sufficient, that it's such a small amount that it doesn't make much difference. Yeah. For the GST credits?
Well, to be honest, I mean, what is sufficient, nobody really know, because we do not know how serious this recession is going to be. So rather than taking a more overcorrect position, I think the government's main focus is really on job saving, to make sure that everyone can continue to have a job to secure their income. So that is really the main focus, to help preserve jobs and help company stay viable. Yeah, I think if you have a job, everything will be just pieced together nicely.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of the main worries, is their jobs, and especially for actually sandwich class, they call it. They are neither here nor there. They are not like very rich, or neither are they the lower income family.
Correct.
So how are they coping? I mean, like, if there's like a retrenchment exercise, they will be the first to go, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if the economic crisis deepens and over the next couple of months or 1 year, then of course the government will have to do slightly more, or even much more. And question are, how are they going to do it? That's where the off-budget measures come into picture. Probably they will increase the cash grant in the job credit scheme, to help families more. And probably they will have to do something to retrench workers. But currently, for those people who have lost their job, the government has allowed them to to prolong their payment of their income tax over 2 years instead of 1 year. So that will really help them to improve their cash flow.
To have a buffer at least for the time period.
Okay, well,
what are the? Sorry, but you were talking about off-budget measures, right? So, how likely is it? Do you think that there will be off-budget measures?
It depends on how serious the recession is, I think. So the government try to be flexible about this. So they use the reserve. Actually, they can use saving, right? But they choose to use past reserve to finance the job credit and also the risk sharing initiatives. So I think they want to evaluate the problem and let's see the impact of the resilience package first, and then if the recession still continue, so they can do more. Probably they might have to use the saving to help
finance those
finance or help middle income people, or even do more. Create more jobs or something.
Okay, let's go back to the lower income family. Well, I was talking to Mr. Goh just now, as you can see from the video. He's actually the sole breadwinner because his wife is sick. She has asthma and she has to stay at home. So actually, one concern, right, from Uncle George, actually he mentioned that we should provide more help in the hospital and medical sense, but that wasn't in the budget at all. Do you think that is like something that was missed out?
Well, no. It's actually, the government has intention that this also the secondary intention that this budget is not just to save jobs, but also in the long run enable Singapore to recover and be competitive again. In the sense that they are willing to spend more on education, on healthcare, which is something that they actually set out a fund to do so. So it's not entirely correct to say that there is not doing anything to help the poor in terms of healthcare.
Okay, just waiting for things to come out and they will smooth out the policy and all.
But I think the message here is that whether you are low income, middle income or top income, everybody has to tighten their belts. And the government is trying to help us to tie through this difficult time. And the message to the employer is try to help your employees, try to be more innovative, try to be more humane, try not to cut and retrench people unnecessarily.
Yeah, that's right. So when we come back later, let's go to the men on the street and see if they are, tightening their belts and what they think about the budget. So.